Hi guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. Today we're looking at 100 Bullets 64, Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso. And you know, sometimes the story vortex can be deceiving. You can spend a lot of time spinning in the story vortex without really advancing or really going anywhere. Just sort of enjoying the characters, the setting, the world. Here Jack is enjoying someone else's fists. But this guy doesn't quite have what it takes to knock him out. And the fight's gone on a little bit longer than he wants. These guys are all talking about the bet. All the dialogue is, if you bet against the hammer, you're going to lose. Be the hammer being Jack. And the narration, Graves talks a little bit, and he says, you can bet on a hard head or a hard heart, and I'll bet on a hard heart any day. And that is basically how Jack wins. He takes as much punishment as the guy has to give and then knocks him out. This is the kind of indulgence that I look for in comic books. This is what I want out of comic books. That's 3 pages. It feels like 5. Maybe it was 5. Yeah, 5 pages. 6, 5 pages. 4, it's 4 right there. That's 5. So page 6, we're on to a new scene with a new color palette. And Graves is asking why he ended the fight early, and he says 2 reasons. 1, he couldn't have put me down if he had all might and 6 arms. And 2, I saw you in the crowd, Graves, and the shit you gave me, take it back. So he's kicking the briefcase to Agent Graves. And Graves kicks it back, says, I don't take back what I give away. And remember, the picture in there is Jack. Jack's supposed to kill himself. And Jack's got a problem. Jack has a set of skills that can pay really well if you can be really obedient and disconnect your mouth from your head, which Jack can't do. And he displays some skills later on in this episode. I mean, it's a comic book, but these skills do exist, and people do develop them, and it does make them valuable. And that's essentially what makes you valuable in this world, is the skills that you have developed. And Jack is threatening Graves. He calls him a passive-aggressive pussy because he's unwilling to... he said, you used to try and kill yourself with drugs. Now you're trying to kill yourself with someone else's fists. You're a passive-aggressive pussy. And Jack really can't do anything about it. See, there's a level of disrespect that doesn't come with violence. I've said before on this channel that people don't get killed over $40 or $400 or $4,000. They get killed over disrespect. But this is a kind of disrespect that is linked. This is contempt. And contempt comes with judgment. And with that judgment comes praise or respect. It's a Mobius strip of disrespect and respect. Graves disrespects Jack because Jack is not being all that he can be. And that's not something you can hate someone for. You can hate someone for disrespecting you in that they think little of you and they're not afraid of you and they don't see you as a threat. But it's hard to disrespect someone because they're saying that there's a scene in Battlestar Galactica, which is essentially this. The new series with Jamie Bamber and whoever else, the hot girls. And 3 hot girls, really. And Jamie Bamber says to Gaeta, I think Jamie Bamber's name was Apollo Adama. Something Adama. And Gaeta was like the cultural first citizen. He was like the futurist. He was the guy, he was the scientist who had all the answers. He was the Albert Einstein. And Gaeta says to Apollo, what, I failed the Adama test? I didn't live up to your standards? And this guy Apollo, Jamie Bamber, says, no, you failed the Gaeta test. You didn't live up to your own standards. We were all looking to you for an example, and that's what you failed. You failed our faith in you. And that's what Jack is failing right here. And it's hard to want to kill the guy who calls you out for that because he believes in you more than you believe in yourself. And that's a come to Jesus moment. The junkie don't bounce till he hits the ground. That's a rock bottom sort of. And if this isn't rock bottom, fighting Mexicans in cargo shipment yards for a handful of sweaty cash, then, it's that or a needle. One of those two is rock bottom. So the bar is another sort of rock bottom. I think that is Victor Ray, but I'm not sure. That is Agent Graves. And they are at a bar. And she is asking him if he wants to dance, and he says no. Graves wants vodka and asks what's the best that they have. The bar girl tells him Smirnoff's still the best. You can keep all the Grey Goose and Belvedere and fancy bottle stuff. And then Jack shows up. Victor, it looks like, now has that girl on his lap. And this guy tells Jack, you can't come in here looking like you're about to. The finishing each other's sentences is a great way to keep the dialogue to a minimum. And it's a great way to flip the tables. Flip the tables is something that is a regular sort of scene move in drama school, in fiction, flipping the tables. Well, because really all you've got, unless you're playing three-way, which right here between Graves, Jack, and the bouncer, that's a three-way. But he's really just flipping the tables between himself and the bouncer. The bouncer had assumed control, but then Jack took it away from him. Every scene is about who's in control at the beginning, shouldn't be the person who's in control at the end. Every scene should contain a life-changing moment, and this one certainly does for everyone involved in this. Jack walks into a nice, fancy restaurant bar, walks into some kind of nice bar right after a fight, and then this guy who's wearing the clown outfit, because remember in the late 90s they had that really bad bodybuilder fashion where they wore like drapes for pants. It was ridiculous. But Jack is actually dressed pretty nice in a t-shirt and cargo pants, and he's insisting that Graves take the briefcase back. And then he grabs Graves, so now he is threatening a patron after he snubbed the bouncer. And the bouncer grabs a baseball bat, presumably a wooden one. It might just be polyethylene. And he cracks Jack in the head with it twice and is going for a third one, which could really kill him. It really could. And remember, he's had his ass kicked all night too. So Jack catches it, headbutts the guy really bad. So bad that they show it 3 times. And the girl calls 911 and he shoots the phone. And it's not maybe that's a bullet, that's a bullet. And so that escalated quickly, right? So 911, we need help and a new phone. And Graves, take it back. And Graves takes out the photo of Jack. Well, he lets Jack threaten this is good. Here's what I'll do. If you don't take it back, I'll kill this bouncer. That's pretty ruthless. That's exceptionally ruthless. And he starts a countdown. Countdowns are great in TV or comics. Countdowns are great in drama. A ticking clock is always awesome. And when it gets to Graves calls him a passive-aggressive pussy again. And he shoots the gun with the magic bullets that can't be traced. It's one issue. It might be more than one issue, but it's great. It's great. He's broken his nose. He's shot the floor. He puts the gun back in the briefcase. Graves takes out the photo. This is where it gets really good. So Jack is not just, now this is comic book, but this is what the Delta Force and the Navy SEALs Navy SEALs train for distance shots, which is a different thing. They train for sneaking through the bush and sniping someone from 800 yards. Whereas Delta Force originally was created for clearing crowded hostage situations. And so they, in a room full of people, can shoot one bad guy in the head and not hit anybody else. That's what Delta Force was created to do. And so Jack's ability right here takes, for someone to get and to be able to do this, and there's guys who can do this. There's guys who can shoot coins out of the air. And for him to be able to do that, that's way more important than being able to take a few punches to the head. Although the two of those together is really valuable. So, being able to clip someone in the head in a crowded passenger plane as they peek over the back of a chair, that's what Delta Force trained to do. And that skill is very expensive. It costs a lot of money in man hours at the range and instruction and review and instruction and review. That's a lot. That's expensive. And so he's shot his clip, shot his wad, and he puts everything back in the briefcase and leaves out a bunch of money. And now those bullets won't get traced, so no one's going to come looking for him. And he storms out. No words. No words. That's the best thing about a comic is little to no words. No words. 3 pages. Passive, aggressive. Bam, 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 bam. Did Graves get shot? Graves might have gotten shot. Maybe by a ricochet. So obviously that other guy was not Victor Ray because he would have done something. But that's not all this comic has. And that, as if that's not enough. I mean, that's a great one-issue comic. Who wouldn't buy the next issue of this? This book is awesome. This book is awesome. Instead of whatever. Brian Azzarello, Loveless. So this is the second comic. Is this Vertigo? Yes, it is. Vertigo #1. Sneak preview. This is Brian Azzarello's second comic advertised inside 100 Bullets. So this is the 3, right? This, War Stories with Joe Kubert, I'm presuming. And then Loveless, which starts off with this guy approaching a small town, and these guys are all out here waiting for him. And they make him stop, and they have a conversation where they know him and he knows them. And he asks about his wife, and she ain't been there in a while. And the Civil War has ended, and the new Union government has come in and taken everyone's land. And these guys are on the border of town. They've been pushed out of town, but they're working as just like town guards. And they mean to shoot this guy, and he talks a bunch of shit to them, and they talk a bunch of shit to him, but it's not very good. They do kind of finish each other's sentences, but it's not clear what the grudge is that they have against each other. And they ask him who this guy is that he's traveling with, and he tells them he's traveling with a buzzard, which is a clever piece of misdirection, I suppose. But now they're going to shoot each other. And a minute ago, it seemed like they were on the same side. A minute ago, it seemed like they were all Confederate soldiers who'd had their land taken by the Union, by Union soldiers. And now they have a shootout. For what reason, I do not know. And then he says he's going to that town. And that town is called Loveless. And his wife was there, and now she's not, they said. So it's not Brian Azzarello's best work, but this version of 100 Bullets is. So as long as this is getting first dibs, As long as this is getting the most attention, as long as this is great, I don't care, you know? All right, talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.